to make some simple shapes. On your toolbar to the left, if you're in single column view, it is the fifth tool down. We're simply just going to click on that, and to make a shape you just click and drag. You can make all kinds of different rectangles with this. To move things, which you'll eventually need to do, you're going to go back to the selection tool. So that is the very first tool up top. The keyboard shortcut is the letter V. That is one that you'll want to memorize. This tool you'll use more than any other tool. So you can, if you click on the interior of a shape, you can move it around. If you click and hover over the white boxes, you can click and drag to resize. If you hover over the corners, you can rotate. And if you want to keep things proportional, you would hold the Shift key and then click and drag. And it'll keep everything proportional. To undo, Command Z. So if you mess up, Command Z. If you want to select multiple shapes, you just, with this tool, you can click and drag a box over it and then move them all together. That selects them all. Let's go back to the rectangle tool here. Let's say we wanted to make a perfect shape, in this case a square. So how we would do this, we would hold the Shift button on our keyboard first, then with our mouse we're going to click and drag, and we're going to make sure we let go of the mouse button before we let go of the Shift key. So that's hold Shift, click drag, release the mouse, and then you can release the Shift key. So what that did, that made a perfect shape. And now if we resize it, you just want to make sure that you hold Shift to keep it proportional. So that Shift key is, you're going to use that a lot. For graphic design, you're going to be using two hands. One hand on the keyboard, one hand on the mouse. You just cannot do graphic design with one hand. You need to use both. So that's squares and rectangles. We're going to look at some other shapes that we can make. So we can click and hold on our rectangle tool there, and you can see it opens up this flyout menu, and we have other shapes. So I'll run through these really quick. We have the Ellipse Tool, which is how we make circles. Again, if you hold Shift, it will make a perfect circle. If you don't, you can make ovals and all kinds of different things. To delete shapes, we can just click and drag, click on any shape you want and press delete on your keyboard. You could drag a box around multiple shapes and press delete. The other shape that we have is the Polygon Tool. And so this one works a little, has a little extra thing that we can do to it. Now when you click and drag before you let go of the mouse, if you tap the up arrow, you can increase the number of sides on this. If you tap the down arrow, you get less sides. So this is how we can make a triangle. And again, if you hold Shift while you do this, you'll get a perfect triangle, and then you can let go of the mouse and everything else. So try that out. The other shape here is the star tool. We can click and drag, and this works the same way as the Polygon tool. If we tap the up arrow, we get more points to it. If we tap the down arrow, we get fewer. And line segment tool, you don't need to worry about, so don't worry about that. One other thing I want to show you. I'm going to go back to the rectangle tool, and let's say we have a very specific size that we want this. Instead of clicking and dragging, what we're going to do is click one time and let go. And let's say we wanted this 4 inches by 4 inches. All right, now depending on the settings of your computer, you can see what mine did. It changed it, it converted it from inches to points. That's fine. All right, you just need to type in IN for inches. If you know you'd rather work in the metric system, you could do centimeters. It will automatically convert it. So at this point, I'm just going to click OK, and there you go. Now I have a 4 inch by 4 inch rectangle, or square, I guess. So go ahead and make a couple different shapes. I want you to make at least one of these, a rectangle, ellipse, polygon, star. I should also mention that for each of these, that same feature applies. So if we wanted a very specific polygon, for example, we could just click once and let go. We could determine the number of sides. Let's say we want everything to be 1 inch. There we go. All right, so practice making those shapes. I want you to have at least one of everything. And we'll pick up on how to change colors next.